Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic, phenomenal day. We're taking a quick look at SUI, seeing what's going on. I just want to let you know, thank you for your support over the weekend and having less content. I was out with my wife and son. We had a good time. It was a lot of fun there. So just kind of saying thank you for not only the awesome feedback, but your patience as well. I got to take time for myself every once in a while, right? We can't always look at the charts. A quick congrats to our community though. Took some nice shorts over the weekend. Solana 32%. AVAX 25% there. But man, there was a lot of like unique, unusual buying and selling activity yesterday. If you didn't see that, that really caused a lot of weirdness in the market. So we're going to see how that affected SUI and kind of go from there. And then just recognize, best practice in situations like this. We're in a descending trend. You generally don't want to just take longs into the blind because anyone who's taken longs in the last 48 hours probably had a pretty bad day there. But the overall sense here is that we're getting close to our point of control, our local support range. I think once that fair value gap is filled, we're going to be in good shape. Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Quickly to note here, SUI $4 to $4.20 is the upper resistance range and or liquidation range. That's like the local one rather. Macro though, roughly about 450 has a ton of liquidation up there. So if we do get closer to that 420, 430 mark, I think we're probably going to run towards that upper liquidation area. However, we are kind of close to a pretty significant range here at 350 to 360. So this little area here could be the next retest. That's kind of where I got my money is, or not my money, not literally. That's where I'm putting my money mentally is in the 350 range if that were to happen. Okay. Between now and then though, liquidation delta is still bearish. You generally don't want to take longs into this. Just because the price is going up by a small margin here doesn't mean you want to FOMO in. However, this coin is a good FOMO coin. So you can have better luck FOMOing into a long position on this coin most days. Having said that though, liquidation, open interest rather, 390 is that massive point of control here locally, as well as 350. So if we do come up to 390 again, we can expect some resistance at that level. That's kind of what that implies. We'll see some exit liquidity, so to speak, there. So when we take a look here at the daily time frame, we want to understand that we're still above all moving averages. It's still a very good situation for this coin. Okay, so just because we're short-term correcting, it's a very natural thing to do, by the way, doesn't mean the sky is falling. We're in good shape here. While this coin is overinflated more than most coins, it does have a lot of sustainability and more likelihood of maintaining its range. All that being said, we have MACD divergence, stochastics swinging down, RSI is kind of tapering off. I mean, we haven't broken any significant trend lines or support levels, but we are on our way down. And generally, the thing I like to look for is holding above key levels here. So if we look at this level, first of all, just to clarify, 380, it's a round number, right? 380 was a previous high. It's worked as a new low 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. Today's the 5th day where we're potentially going to close below that. So we close below 380 today, for example. I think there's a distinct probability we go a bit lower to this 355 range as our previous one-day high closure support level at roughly 355. So to me, 355 seems very practical considering there's local liquidation in that range as well. So that's kind of, again, where I'm mentally preparing myself to consider a long position in that range. In fact, let me go ahead and set an alert. Just go right here, just so I know, or I'm reminded later to take a look, because jumping into a blind long position with leverage is never a good call, right? Same thing with shorts. So having said that, what's going on now here? There's a 4-hour time frame. We're still under 50 on the RSI. MACD's trying to converge, but hasn't yet. We got a lot of funky stuff here. In other words, these are a lot of false positive things you don't necessarily want to try to take a long position into. And the truth is we're still establishing lower highs at this point, okay? So until we break this macro, or more so macro, it's not that big of a time frame. We're looking at about we've been establishing lower highs in the last week. And so last 9-10 trading days, we've seen lower highs. Until that momentum shifts, so to speak, though, it's best to presume the price is going to go down. Or it's generally best practice not to take a long into somewhat of a key level resistance, such as 390 and that descending trend. So these are just kind of some friendly reminders here that it's, if you're considering a long position right now, it's kind of, you're probably being emotional and you probably shouldn't do that. It's a simple way to understand it. Okay, anyway, just take it from me here. From probably the least emotional trader I know, it's not a good idea to take a long just yet. Now, I do personally think that Bitcoin, if we close in the 105K range today, we should have further upside potential, and if so, we could see a surge from altcoins. But Bitcoin dominance is really putting a hole in that potential reality. Unless this comes down or we start seeing money flowing into alts, I don't think that's going to happen. I personally think alts are going to continue to bleed out until they hit their local highs, or in this case here, fill their fair value gaps. That could be as low as 340. So just know they got a fair value gap there down below. So we'll talk about that later. We'll keep an eye on it. But at this point here, I think no trade is the best trade. And let's wait for confirmation, see kind of where we're at there. I'll post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, of course, as per usual. That's available here. Oh, this is, sorry, super important. I should open with this. To my current traders who are trading underneath me and have used my link to register, they got a Tesla up for grabs now for this trading competition this month. So it's pretty awesome stuff. They got really good bonuses here, nice deposit rewards as well. So this is a really awesome opportunity. So take advantage of that if you're part of my community. If not, use the link down below to register. Otherwise, I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. Thanks so much again for the awesome feedback and support. Look forward to seeing the next one. Take care of yourself out there. Bye-bye.